Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. Welcome Arsh, Esma, Vital, Angel, Arsh, Wasim, Charmin. Good to see many students in the class. Welcome Paulo. Hello to our members. Ready for another week of live IELTS classes. Today we are looking at speaking part 1. We're going to talk about what you need to do to get Band 9, that excellent user of the English language. Today is July 14th, which of course is Bastille Day, the birth of modern democracy. So it's a great day for celebration. And this lesson is brought to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us there, join our premium package. For the general IELTS, check us out at IELTShelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com for general IELTS materials. I see Angel remembered that it's also my birthday today. Indeed it is. Thank you very much, students, for those birthday wishes. I'm feeling 1 year younger. All right. Okay, thank you so much. Putting a smile on my face. It's great to have this class with you today on my birthday. Welcome, Carolina, our moderator. Thank you for the birthday cake. Students, our academic IELTS website looks like this with the blue background. You can click that big red button to join the premium package. It is a one-time payment for lifetime access. You can practice speaking with other IELTS students. You get access to HD video lessons, practice exams, a fully interactive course, an app for your phone. And for the general IELTS, it's GLShelp.com, green background. Again, just click that big red button. It's a one-time payment. It's well worth the investment. It's much, 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 much cheaper than your actual IELTS exam, so it's good to do your best and pass. Again, thank you for all the birthday wishes. We are an official British Council IELTS test registration center in Saudi Arabia, and we are certified British Council agents, so you're in good hands with us. Okay, everyone, if you have questions, send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com and I will get back to you. Jigs, this is a speaking part 1 lesson, but we do have lots of speaking part 2 and cue card lessons as well, so check those out on our YouTube channel, and I'm sure we'll have some live classes on that in the coming week. Also, we do have a full week of classes. So today, speaking. We'll have writing and reading tomorrow. We'll have a Q&A session. We will have a speaking part 2 cue card there. So you can check out our schedule on our YouTube community board. And now let's get into some speaking. Let's really do this. So, all right, here we go. Make sure to speak and repeat. Okay. Copy what I say. Try to copy my intonation, my pronunciation, my enunciation. If you catch some new words, write them down. Come back to it later. The video is being recorded. All right. So when you go to your IELTS speaking, your speaking interview, it's often on the same day as the other 3 parts, the sit-down part of the exam. Arrive early, get really comfortable, talk to other IELTS candidates, use English all day. Confidence is key. We will be releasing an HD video very, very soon, today, tomorrow, that will focus on these key strategies for speaking part 1. So, all right. When you get to your speaking interview, you will be met by an examiner. They're supposed to be neutral with their affect. It means they shouldn't be all smiley and happy like it's your birthday. They shouldn't be all angry and upset like, they just had the worst cup of coffee in the morning. They should be neutral. Now, having said that, they are human. Your goal is to do your best. Don't worry about the examiner. Don't worry about their attitude. Just do your best. Be confident. You deserve to be there. Okay? So once you sit down with the examiner, they will ask you for your identification. The examiner will say, "Welcome to the speaking portion of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. I'm recording this for marking and clerical purposes. Candidate number is 7654321. We are currently conducting the exam in Mumbai at 11 o'clock in the morning. May I see your identification?" That will be their first question. You have to show it to them. If you don't have it, they will ask you to leave. Okay. Leyland, it's too bad that she interrupted you. They shouldn't interrupt you when you explain to them what your nickname is. That's not nice, and you should just stay serious in that case. And you should just say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I meant to finish what I was saying. I go by Lele. Please call me that for this interview." Okay, so you can't finish, okay? All right, Janelle says, "Yes, of course. Here is my national ID that I used to register for this exam. Here you go." Okay, Janelle, that's good. Sammy says, "Yes, certainly. Here's my ID card that I used to register for this exam a couple of weeks ago through the online portal. Please have a look." Oh, wait a moment. Let me take the personal details. Yes, here you go. All right, Sammy, very natural. Good. Nick Hill says, "Certainly, here's my ID that I used to register for the exam 4 weeks ago. Please take a look." Nice, Nick Hill. I like that use of quantitative language right away where you're like, 4 weeks ago I used this. It's very specific. It's good. Ken Fambao says, "Yes, okay, here's my passport that I used to register for the exam." It's the exam because it's the unique exam that you're in right now, Ken. So it's for this exam or for the exam. Okay. No, don't ask, "Are you my examiner?" They're definitely your examiner. Okay. Yeah, Carolina seconds that. Manvi says, "Thanks, Adrian, for your help. I got my desired band score with your assistance. Thank you so much." You are very welcome, Manvi. Okay, so yeah, this question. May I see your identification? Just nice, quick, smooth, polite. Certainly. Here is my passport that I used to register for this exam 3 weeks back. Please take a look. Okay, so that's it. Nice and smooth. Yeah, definitely I like that quantitative information. It reminds you to be quantitative in your answers. Being quantitative, meaning using numbers, using measurable communication like kilometers, hours, days, months. That's very, very, very helpful for your band score, okay? So make sure to do that, quantitative language. Here we go, students. Repeat after me. May I see your identification? Certainly. Here's my passport that I used to register for this exam 3 weeks back. Please take a look. All right? So show your fluency right away. Don't just say yes and then show it, okay? Show fluency right away. Show them that you mean business. You're here to get a good band score. You're here to show your maximum English level, okay? And the next question will certainly be, what is your full name? So what is your full name? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one, okay? Hemangi, if you have some questions about listening and writing, and students who have questions about other parts of the exam, send me an email. If you have questions about speaking, specifically speaking part 1, ask those. Let's focus on one idea. That's very important in your studies, okay? Sammy says, my full name is Siva Shankar. My surname is Pulivarthi. Please call me by my nickname, Sammy. That's what my mates and my family call me, and I'm happy with that. Very nice, Sammy. Sammy, try to copy that fluency that I'm showing you, okay? So especially with these warm-up questions, be really fluent, okay? Sharman says, well, my first name is Sharman and my family name is Rahman. Please call me by my first name as it makes me feel more comfortable. Okay, Charmin, I certainly will. Mohammed Azat says, my given name is Mohammed and my surname is Omran. Please call me by my first name, Mohammed. Yeah. So, my given name is Mohammed after my father. And my middle name is Ahmed. After my grandfather. And my family name is Al-Zakrani. Please just call me Mo for short. It's what my friends and family call me. Okay, so here's a nice long answer. And somebody in the chat a few moments ago said, well, the examiner interrupted me when I was trying to say my nickname is, or please just call me. They shouldn't do that. That's kind of rude, to be honest with you. And yes, the examiners are trained to conduct the entire interview in about 12 minutes. And yes, they are trained to keep the interview going. But that doesn't mean that they should be disrespectful. Now, you shouldn't get angry and throw the papers in the air and say, I'm out of here, or how dare you interrupt me. Okay, so don't do that. Be professional, right? And I'm going to show you what you can do, especially in this kind of an introduction part where you're, trying to get comfortable and trying to get confident. And of course, it's your right to express yourself for a question like this. Now, don't start talking about the name of your dog or your cat, because then obviously you're going off topic, and then it's the examiner's right to say, hey, let's, get focused here. But when you're introducing yourself, you shouldn't have to just say, I'm Mohammed Ahmed Al-Zakrani, let's go. All right, you shouldn't, that's not, there's no precedence for that. All right, so let me show you this, okay? So the examiner says, repeat after me, okay? So the examiner says, what is your full name? And then you say, well, my given name is Mohammed after my father, and my middle name is Ahmed after my grandfather. And my family name is Al-Zakrani. Please just call me Mo for short. It's what my friends and family call me. Okay, so let's just say that you're saying this, and somewhere around here, the examiner's like, oh, I've had enough. How dare you speak for 30 seconds introducing yourself? And then they try to really interrupt you and say, what did you do this morning, right? Or what did you do this morning? You can say, so be natural, be confident, and saying something like this can actually build your confidence. So you can just say something like, okay, so let's say examiner interrupts. With the next question, okay? So you can say something like this, okay? And this is natural. Okay, and I wouldn't be surprised if the examiner will just have much more respect for you at this point, and you'll get a great score. Okay, so don't be shy. All right, I would respect it if a student said that. I'd take a check and a note of myself. Right, so it's okay to do that. At the end of the day, the question is how fluent and confident are you in the English language? Okay, so if the examiner interrupts you, you can say, just before I get to answering that question, I wanted to ask you to call me Mo for short, as I'm more comfortable with this. Okay, so this morning, if the question is, what did you do this morning? All right, so keep the question in mind. It will be a simple question anyway in the beginning, okay? So you can do that, all right? You deserve to be there. You paid for this exam. You deserve to express yourself with your name and what you want to be called. Okay? And hopefully it will also calm the examiner down. Sometimes the examiners feel pressure too, so not just the candidates, because just imagine the examiner will sometimes go into their work and they see that they have 30 people that they have to interview that morning, and maybe you're like candidate number 2 and they're like, okay, go, 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 rush, 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 right? Slow them down. It's not fair to rush you through the interview process just because they have another 28 people, okay? All right, so here's the next question. What did you do this morning? And use the question, just like I showed you, okay? So Arda says, I woke up at 7 a.m. this morning to practice some English before the exam and had a breakfast with just my dad because my mom was sleeping. After breakfast, I decided to take a cold shower and relax for a few minutes. Okay, Paulo says, well, this morning I woke up very early. By 6 a.m., I had my breakfast and went out for a walk around my block. After that, I took a shower and got ready to come to the center to take the test. Very nice. Okay, Paulo, that's good. It's natural. It's you. Excellent. Ibrahim says, I woke up and stretched for 20 minutes. This helps me start my day with lots of energy. Then I had breakfast while I was checking my emails. Very good. Okay. Sammy says, this morning I got up at 6 a.m. and went for a morning walk and then studied for some time for this exam. Then I had my bread and butter with some fresh juice. After that, I started my car to come to the exam center. Very good. Just a slight correction near the end, Sammy. Take note of that. Bharat says, I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning and drank a glass of water. After that, I got ready for some online classes. I had attended 3 lectures today. And the last action I did before coming to this exam was going for a 30-minute walk. Okay, careful, Bharat. Couple of corrections there as well. Okay, all of those are good. I like the explanation. So always answer, explain, example. Okay, to get a nice high band score, you want to always think of answer plus explain plus example. Okay, so answer the question directly using the question. This morning, I got up at 6 a.m. I popped out of bed, brushed my teeth, and then did a bit of stretching so I would be limber for the day. Then I ate a healthy breakfast and came to this exam center about an hour before the start of this interview so that I could practice with some other candidates who were also waiting for their turn. All right. So I'm also using this question and answer to give you some strategy. All right. So again, you want to answer, explain, example. So this morning I got up at 6 a.m. I'm using the question, what did you do this morning? This morning I got up. Of course, it's past tense. Be very careful. I popped out of bed, bang, like a springboard, right? You're all full of energy, ready for the exam. So popped out is a phrasal verb. It's idiomatic. You're picking up points for that lexical resource. You do not need to use complex idioms like, well, I believe that getting up at 4 a.m. is best practice because, as the saying goes, the early bird catches the worm. You do not need to use idioms like the early bird catches the worm with a question like this, okay? It would be less common in natural settings as well, but you should use simpler idiomatic phrasal verbs like I popped out of bed, brushed my teeth, and then did a bit of stretching so I would be limber for the day. A bit of stretching, right? Okay. When we do a bit of stretching, we feel limber. Limber means loose, kind of just instead of, the opposite of limber is tense, like, okay, so not tense, but limber. You're feeling limber, okay? All right, so you felt limber for the day. Then I ate a healthy breakfast and came to this exam center about an hour before the start of this interview so that I could practice with some other candidates who were also waiting for their turn. Notice all of the adjective clauses there, who were also waiting for their turn. It came to the exam center, and you should do that, okay? Go to the exam center about an hour early, take some speaking questions with you, and practice with other candidates, okay? All right, so again, students, make sure to repeat me throughout this lesson. If you're having difficulty, don't worry. It is recorded. You will be able to go back and practice again later. Here we go, everyone. Next question. What do you plan to do on the weekend? Or British English, at the weekend. Doesn't matter. Okay. So what do you plan to do at the weekend? All right. Again, nice full sentence answer, explanation, perhaps an example. Mohammed says, I'm planning to make a cycling challenge with my friends because I love getting exercise and seeing many new places. While doing that and riding my bike for an hour at least 2 to 3 times a week. Very nice, okay? I like it. It's a very nice answer. Cycling challenge. It's original. You're creating good thought using English. Very good. Okay. All right. And then Mohammed finishes with, I made a challenge like this along the beach just last weekend and my brother won it. Okay, Mohammed, make sure to stick to the weekend. Okay, Saturday, Sunday. So keep that in mind throughout your answer. All right. Sammy says, generally on weekends, I either go out to the beach or sit at home and have delicious food and watch a nice movie on Netflix. Last Sunday, I watched Tom and Jerry's latest version with my wife. Okay. All right. Don't take out the word asking. That's kind of weird. I'm not sure what that is. Sammy, maybe a typo. Arda says, I plan to do camping on this weekend with my family in the countryside. We will be doing that for at least 3 days if it goes well. I haven't started preparing my backpack for the camping yet, but I will do that as soon as I get home from this exam. Right, Arda? So finish the idea. I think maybe you ran out of space, but definitely finish the idea, Arda. Always finish your ideas, students. Okay. Sion says, my plan for the weekend is to go to the museum nearby with my family and spend a good amount of time there. Hopefully it will be fun. The reason we chose to do this is because they have a very special dinosaur exhibit, and my kids are really into dinosaurs, especially my oldest son loves the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Okay, Sion, good. I like it. It's halfway there. You need a little bit more for those Band 8, Band 9s, where you get into those specific kinds of vocabulary, like there's a special dinosaur exhibit going on, okay? An exhibit is a display at the museum that changes from time to time, and it could be a dinosaur exhibit or a famous painter or a famous architect, scientist exhibit, or from a specific time in human history, like an Egyptian pyramid and pharaoh exhibit. Okay, so get into that vocabulary. All right. Devansh says, I do have a couple of plans for this weekend. For the time, I would like to spend quality interaction with my family during dinner at a restaurant. Okay, Devansh, good. You're a little bit all over the place and you have some redundancy, so careful with that. Tried to fix that as I was doing. Okay. All right. On Saturday, I'm planning to visit my grandparents, as I haven't seen them in quite some time. I plan to go to the park with them for a chat and dinner. And on Sunday, I will hang out with my friends and probably watch a movie as we did last week. Okay, so here we go. Repeat after me. What do you plan to do on the weekend? Well, on Saturday, I'm planning to visit my grandparents, as I haven't seen them in quite some time. Again, watch that natural language here, and I'm mixing in present perfect, showing that grammatical range. Haven't seen them in quite some time. Even during the icebreaker questions, you want to show grammatical range as soon as possible, okay? I plan to go to the park with them for a chat and dinner, and on Sunday I will hang out with my friends and probably watch a movie as we did last week, okay? Notice how here, instead of saying the weekend so much, I'm breaking it into the days, Saturday and Sunday, because those are the days of the weekend for me. So that's how I explain it, okay? Saturday and Sunday. All right. And then once you finish with your icebreakers, then the examiner will introduce the actual topic of part 1. So they'll say something like, let's talk about helping people. Okay. Rajveer is asking, I haven't seen them for quite some time. Is this also correct? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I haven't seen them in quite some time. I haven't seen them for quite some time. Both are correct, Rajveer. Yeah, for or in, both. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so in many cases, you can use different prepositions like for, in, or what did you do on the weekend or at the weekend, because it's culturally different between U.S. And England, right? Okay. Or Great Britain. So when you get introduced your topic for part 1, so let's talk about helping people, your mind should always be racing. And when you hear a key verb like helping people, okay, to get a band 9, you really have to use a good range of vocabulary. I was going to say lexical resource. And right away, as you hear this word, you should immediately think of some synonyms for that word. What are some other ways to say help someone? Okay, definitely you're going to want to use those in your answers. Okay, so before we get to answering the questions, what are some synonyms? And this is where you want to visualize. So helping people, see images. And then come up with some synonyms. So Ruchi says assist, yeah. Okay, is another way to say it. Generous is not. Sustain is not. Shahajvir says aid. Yeah, aid is a good way. What are some other ways? Support, lenyuin, yeah, absolutely. Support is a good synonym as well. Okay. What are some other ways? Maintain, Bulat, is not really. Very good, Savage. Somebody coming up with an expression. So, to give a hand. Okay. To give a hand. To lend a hand. Okay. Yeah, guide. I saw somebody use guide. Guide can be kind of a synonym as well. Okay. Cooperate and carry about, not so much. Okay. All right. So assist, aid, support, give a hand, lend a hand, guide. You can even get really fancy and say something like to be a pillar. Okay. To be a pillar of support. Okay. Help out, pitch in, sang fam. That's very good too. I like it. Pitch in means to add effort or assistance. Pitch in can be, absolutely. Okay. All right. So that should come to mind as soon as you hear the topic. Let's talk about helping people. Okay. So assist, aid, support, give a hand, lend a hand, guide, to be a pillar, to pitch in. Okay. All of those can be useful depending on the context. All right. Lexical resource certainly does help your grammatical range and your fluency, so it's good to learn lots of vocabulary. You can do that on our websites. We have special blogs and assistance for that as well. However, you don't need to know millions of words to do well in the test, okay? So here we go. First question. How often do you get help from others? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. So how often do you get help from others? Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, Akshay says, I get support frequently from my colleagues, friends, and family. I'm working as a freelancer software developer, so I usually need help from experts, and I ask for help from my colleagues, and they help. Okay, Akshay, instead of repeating that you get help from your colleagues, because you said that in your first sentence, give an example. So, Akshay, I'm going to read yours again, but I'm going to adjust it. Notice the difference. The way you answer it right now, if you're fluent, you'll get maximum of band 7. And the way I'm going to answer it in a moment here, you'll get a band 9. Okay, so watch this, Akshay. I get support frequently from my colleagues, friends, and family. As I work in freelance software development, I usually need some assistance from experts. Just the other day, I had to troubleshoot some JavaScript, and my friend John really was helpful figuring out the issue. Okay, that would be your band 9, all right? Okay, so that's how you want to do answer, explain, example. And thank you, Akshay, for that and for letting me use your response to show that difference. Okay, all right. Arjun says, I consider myself a self-reliant person, but I do reach out to mentors once in a while seeking both professional and personal advice. In numerical terms, about once a fortnight. Arjun, the end of that's kind of awkward in numerical terms, about once a fortnight. So I get it, but that's just, personally, I think that's kind of weird. And it's like you're trying to purposefully push some vocabulary in there. So instead of that, Arjun, use an actual example, okay? Just the other week, my car wouldn't start, and I had to ask my neighbor Tim to give me a jump start so I could get to work. Okay, so something a little bit more original. All right. Amit says, well, that's an interesting question. I get aid from my teachers in my studies about 5 days a week. Just yesterday, my teacher helped me improve my grammar, specifically conditionals. Okay, Amit, not bad. That's an interesting question. It's okay. I think it's a bit forced. So only say that when it really is an interesting question. Usually part 3 is where questions really get interesting, but So careful with that. You don't want to sound like you're reciting memorized phrases. Okay? All right, let's take one more. Rajveer says, I regularly receive a helping hand from others, whether it's in my professional or personal life. I get support from my colleagues for computer programming and designing issues almost daily. Just the other day, my senior Amit helped me to correctly use inheritance in C++. Okay, very nice, Rajveer. Yeah, my younger brother can code C++ as well. Okay, so whenever you have often, you should definitely use an adverb of frequency, like always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, never. Okay. And then you should quantify it. So give a number. Okay. So, well, when I really think about it, okay, now this would be a natural expression here because when somebody asks me how often do you get help, at first I'm like, well, I don't get help all that much. And then when I really think about it, I realize that, oh yeah, I get help all the time, right? We're social creatures, humans. We get help every single day, whether somebody helps us with house chores or with our homework or with some kind of an issue with our computer. We're actually getting help all the time. We really do depend on each other, a doctor, medical care, and so on. We get lots of help. We help others, and others help us. Well, when I really think about it, I always get help from friends, family, and society. At least half a dozen times a day. Whether it's doing the chores, as my wife often helps me do the dishes, or with my work, like my colleague John the other day helping me compose a contract. I'm always getting a hand from some person. Okay. Without going really off topic. Okay, so here we go. Repeat after me. How often do you get help from others? Well, when I really think about it, I always get help from friends, family, and society at least half a dozen times a day. Whether it's doing the chores, as my wife often helps me do the dishes, or with my work, like my colleague John the other day helping me compose a contract, I'm always getting a hand from some person. Okay. So what do you usually need help with? Okay, kind of similar. Usually means frequently. Okay, so once again, give me a nice full sentence answer, explanation, example. So what do you usually need help with? Arda says, I usually need some help with the chores because I'm 16 and I haven't experienced doing housework so much. This morning I was cleaning the house and I asked for some support with the vacuuming. Okay, good. Sukanya, both would work in this case. All right. Pritam Roy says, I usually take help from my friends and my mom when it comes to reading and writing my second language, Bengali, because I'm quite bad at that. Just yesterday, my mom helped me out learning my writing, not learning, Pritam, writing my Bengali essay. Very good, Pratam. Yeah, that would be a really good answer. Just careful with your verb selection. Not learning my Bengali essay, but writing my Bengali essay. Okay. All right. Nervik says, I guess helping is in my nature at home. I help my wife by lending a hand on household chores. Okay, Nervik, I think you're either answering a different question or you're going off topic. Be really, really careful about that. Arjun says, being a software developer, I rely heavily on collaboration and support from my colleagues in my profession. I also get help from my friends and family on daily chores, especially buying groceries because I simply don't have time for it. Okay, Arjun, good. Careful with your word choice, okay? All right. Sukanya Roy says, at Pratam Roy, I wouldn't think I meet another Roy, but you did, Sukanya. You could be related. All right, Shri, good to see many new members actively participating in the class. I love it. Shri says, recently I'm doing research on forest fires. I usually need help to do my work on various technologies, so my professors assist me by pointing me in the right direction to complete my tasks, such as helping me with keywords and renowned publishers for research material. Okay, Shri, get a little bit more into it. Ken Pham says, I normally get help from my friends in doing homework when it comes to math because I'm 16 now and the amount of homework is at a different level, so I usually need assistance in arithmetic because that's my area of weakness and I want to get a good grade. Okay. All right. Good. Okay, so especially the ending. I see a lot of really strong starts, but the ending is a little bit awkward. Don't force grammar. Don't force expressions. Just remember to explain and give an example. Okay, so I frequently need aid in my work to get my tasks done. I am involved which require collaboration with other experts like Carolina and Eldar, especially with graphics and video editing, so that we can roll out these projects by a specific deadline. This was the case last week with our latest IELTS speaking interview video. And I bet Carolina's having a bit of a laugh because it's true. Right, there we go, smiley face. Okay, so what do you usually need help with? I frequently need aid in my work to get my tasks done on time. I am involved in several bigger projects which require collaboration with other experts like Caroline and Eldar, especially with graphics and video editing so that we can roll out these projects by a specific deadline. This was the case last week with our latest IELTS speaking interview video. Quite true. All right. Paying respects to my colleagues and collaborators. Again, answer, explain, example. Okay. Notice all of the use of the different vocabulary, joining words like especially. Okay. Those are very, very useful to get those higher band scores. Okay. All right. Next question. When is it important to ask for help? Okay. So, when is it important to ask for help? Again, if you can't think of the answer right away, don't panic. Don't be like, oh, what do I do? What do I say? I don't know. Okay. You should say something like, that's a great question. Please allow me a moment to think. It would be absolutely natural to start that way. I would probably take a moment to think about an answer for this. When is it important to ask for help? That's a great question. It is a good question because it's important to ask for help when you need it. So that's a great question. Please allow me a moment to think. Okay? Then take 4 or 5 seconds to think about it. Okay? Sukanya says, since I recently moved to Oman, I need help with a lot of things. What do you mean things, Sukanya? Don't use the word things. Use something else. With a lot of endeavors. Because I don't know a lot about the culture and the people. One good example is simply to understand the local dialect of the Arabic language. Okay? So Sukanya, things. Twice it appears in your response, really loses coherence. Careful with that. Okay. Super Anuto 4K says it's significantly important to ask for aids. Rescuers frequently help people. Just yesterday, my friend who is working as a rescuer helped an old lady get out of a burning building, not out of a firehouse, out of a house fire, but we would rather say a burning building. Okay, careful. Super Anuto, good. Okay. All right, Baldir says, how much time does it usually take to prepare for speaking? I mean, how many days? Baldish, it depends on your level of English. It depends on your personality. Are you extroverted, introverted? Do you like to speak? Or are you a little bit shyer person? So it depends on all of these factors, but you should start practicing your speaking specifically for the IELTS at least a couple months before your test to get familiar with the format, to improve communication skills, and so forth. I highly recommend checking out our websites for that. Okay. All right. Deepika says, it is necessary to seek help when the person is sick and needs to go to a hospital and get treated. I see a lot of patients coming to me in a serious condition since they were hesitant to ask for help when they needed it. Okay, Deepika. Yeah, very good. So what you're telling me is that a couple of instances when people ought to seek assistance are when they feel ill, as well as when they feel in danger. If a person has not got better after 2 weeks of feeling under the weather, they should immediately seek medical aid because their immune system is not able to combat the disease. Also, if a person feels that they are threatened by an animal or another person, they should shout for help. Okay? All right. So I'm going to use this question and answer to teach a life skill as well. Here we go, everybody. Repeat after me. When is it important to ask for help? That's a great question. Please allow me a moment to think. A couple of instances when people ought to seek assistance are when they feel ill, as well as when they feel in danger. If a person has not got better after 2 weeks of feeling under the weather, they should immediately seek medical aid because their immune system is not able to combat the disease. Also, if a person feels that they are threatened by an animal or another person, they should shout for help. Okay. I did this while a bear was chasing me through the forest last month. It's not true, but that's my example. Okay, so Just a quick life skill. If you are a healthy individual, you catch a cold or you catch the flu, it takes 2 weeks for your secondary immune system to identify the disease and start combating it effectively. So you should start feeling better after 2 weeks. If you still feel really poorly after 2 weeks of catching a cold or the flu, it could be something else. Your health could be in danger. It's very, very important that you seek medical assistance. A lot of people, as one of our members stated, probably a nurse or a doctor, make a big mistake by not going to the hospital thinking, oh, I'll just keep drinking some hot tea, I'll eventually get better. No, your autoimmune system triggers its antibodies after 2 weeks. If you're still not feeling better after 2 weeks, you must go to the hospital because you could be ill with something that your body is not able to combat on its own, and you need antibiotics or other medical assistance. So be really careful about that. It's strange, but they somehow don't teach that enough in schools, that 2 weeks is the time limit for the average healthy human body. Okay? So keep that in mind. Could save your life. All right, everyone. So here are a couple more questions. You can try these ones on your own. Have you helped someone recently? How? If you need assistance during work or school, who do you ask for help? Try these questions with each other, okay, on our websites at aehelp.com and glshelp.com. You can interact with each other there. Members, you can also try those questions on Discord. You can interact with each other there. We've set up a speaking room in Discord for you. That's for the members of the channel. So check that out, okay? For the websites, everybody can use the speaking function. It's free. You log into your My Student account. You click on the student partner speaking. You accept that you're going to be polite with each other. And then you'll find some other people in here, like Unkit is in here right now looking for somebody to video and audio chat. So that's what you want to do. Tomorrow, everyone, we've got task 2 starting for members, and then we've got a reading for everybody. So make sure that you check that out. Shri, yeah, I think Carolina can send you that Discord link. You can find it in our YouTube community board in the notes for members as well. All right, everyone. So that's it for today. Enjoy the rest of July 14th. Again, the birth of modern democracy. So if you have a moment, read into it, The French Revolution. It's a good read. And if it's getting late in your country, get some rest. Much love to all of you wherever you are in this beautiful world today. I'm Adrian, and I'm signing out from Victoria on the west coast of Canada. Hopefully I will catch you all tomorrow. Bye for now.